good, everybody? It's Mohammed, and today, guys, I'm coming to you with a brand new video. But before we get on that, guys, please go ahead and leave a like on this video. Let's try and get 3 likes and, of course, subscribe, because we are oh so close to 7,000 subscribers. And, of course, check out all the links down below. You'll be able to find my Discord, any other way to message me as well, guys. My Instagram is also a pretty good place to follow, I heard. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, guys, so starting off with my videos, my layouts are kind of like all the same. It's basically really generic combos at the beginning, and then spicier, bigger combos near the end of the video. Of course, guys, ignore my nasally sound. I am still a little bit sick. That's why I took a little break. But again, leave a like before we start off with the video. So starting off, the first combo is going to be any 2 warrior monsters. I like using the battle boxes because I believe that in these combos they're a lot better. Of course, there are niche applications to connector, where connector is like better seeing our opponent's hand knowledge. But again, you can play around Nibiru almost always, so just do it. But this is just going to be the super generic. So we go ahead, normal uppercutter. Uppercutter's effect states that when he's normal special summoned, you can add a battle boxer. Sparta says if you control, you can special. So you guys can see that how these are just like the generic 2 warrior combo. So you go ahead, we link into our Isolde, 2-tail of the Noble Knights. Now, the first couple combos I'm showcasing are just going to be really generic, kind of Isolde Infernoble combos with the Angel Ring. So again, we go ahead, because it's 2 warriors, we do the mill foreplay. So the main thing here is we go ahead and we mill Angel Ring, or it's called Angelica's Angelic Ring, or Angelica's whatever. Angel Ring basically says this: equip only to a monster you control that is equipped with an equip card. Again, Charles has the effect where he can bypass it, and then you can only control 1 Angel Ring, which is fair because this card says negate the effect of your opponent's first spell card or effect that resolves each turn. Now, notice that it says negate the effect of your opponent's that resolves each turn, so this doesn't really activate in response. It activates on resolution, if I could say that. So if your opponent goes like Dark Ruler, you're like, oh, that's perfectly fine, I'm Dark Rulered, and then when the card resolves, Angel Ring will negate it. It's kind of like that Mermill card. And then once per turn, while the card is equipped to a monster, gain 5 life points, then destroy this card. If you do while the monster is equipped, it cannot be targeted. So it's pretty good. It has that other effect as well. So, you know, if you play for time, but we don't really play for time, we play for game. So from here, it's full mill 4. Again, you have to mill the Angel Ring, and this will summon Ogier. Ogier effect, again, go ahead and summon to dump Turpin, then use Divine Sword. So again, these combos are going to be like the very generic combos, like I said before. We go Divine Sword, summon out Turpin, go into Dempsey, and again, if you play the Battle Boxers, Dempsey gets better for obvious reasons. Then go ahead and summon Renaud. You have to summon Renaud now because you have Dempsey. Go ahead and link away into Ratend the Heavenly General. Then from here, we go ahead and use Divine Sword. Divine Sword come back, DDR, bring back the 4, go into our Angelica, get the field spell, active field spell, pay the 12, get the All Mace into our hand, and then from here we go ahead and use Divine Sword again because this card's broken. Go ahead and get Divine Sword, and then one thing I like to do here is, I'm not sure if it's here, is I like to really banish the Dempsey, and the reason for Dempsey is if you're playing against Rescue Ace, they can go Heater, Reborn Dempsey, and then use Dempsey effect, so it's pretty, you know what I mean, so make sure you banish Dempsey. From here we go ahead and we do like the generic plays where, again, Angelica, tag out, roll in, summon, equip, special summon, dump, All Mace into this, and then we go Charles, Chainlink 1, All Mace, Chainlink 2. So Charles will equip our Synchro Charles, All Mace will go ahead and add back Gearfried into our hand, and then we can go ahead and equip, summon out Gearfried. Now again, this is like the super generic thing, like of course Ogier equip. Then during the end phase, Emperor Charles will equip. So again, usually like there's nothing we equip from the graveyard that we want. We get like an All Mace in case the card gets outed, which is pretty dumb because we're not expecting this card to be outed because our monster is nasty. But now we can go ahead and equip Angelic Ring, or Angelica's Angelic Ring. I'm just calling it Angel Ring. We go ahead and equip Angel Ring onto our Charles the Great, which basically means that when our opponent activates a spell card, we just kind of let it resolve, quote unquote, and then Angel Ring will automatically negate. So we can still play around talents in that way. Alternatively, we can just fire it off and negate anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm pretty sure Angel Ring doesn't destroy itself, negate the effect. Yeah, so Angel Ring will negate, and then you can technically use Charles to send the Angel Ring. I don't know why you would. You can just send this instead. But yeah, so this goes ahead and get the Angel Ring, and then of course, super generic, Charles pop the Malgus. Malgus will go ahead and shuffle back the 3, and then you go ahead and draw a card as well. So again, depending on what you draw, it's nice. Like if you draw a hand trap, it's pretty good as well. So that's it for like the first generic combo. Like I said before, guys, it's the same exact lines that you do. You just play Angel Ring, and I will be doing a deck file very soon as well, just to showcase you guys what to cut. That was it for the first combo, guys. Now let's get into the second combo. Alright, guys, so now we are getting on to the second combo. Now the second combo is going to be a different combo than I've shown. A lot of people have been asking how to play around Nibiru, so this is going to be the Rhoda Renaud combo, or Connector Renaud. Really, it's just Connector plus Renaud, which is the main extender. I'm just putting Rhoda because like why not. But from here we can go ahead and activate Rhoda. Rhoda can go ahead and grab us our Connector, which is really good. Basically, the reason why it's important to have Connector here is, say for example, we go Connector effect, go ahead and summon out Dolphin. Now we go Dolphin effect, go ahead and discard, and we see, oh damn, our opponent has Nibiru. How do I play around it? I can't rip, right? I'll show you how to play around right now. So basically, go ahead and we link our monsters away into Assault. So this is kind of like the generic play. You add one. It's really important to mill 4 here, again, like I said before. But this play will be a little different. So we mill 4, we summon out Ogier. Ogier's effect here will go ahead and dump Richardetto. So now we're not dumping Turpin. The play is a little different for sure, but I'll show you why. So from here we can go ahead and so this is Connector, Dolphin, that's 2, Assault 3, Ogier 4. So this is our 4th summon. So from here we can go ahead and we can special summon out our Renaud. You can use Divine Sword, doesn't really matter. I special summon out Renaud here, get Divine Sword first. Use Renaud. Now Renaud's going to go ahead and add back our DDR. So it's important that you end up banishing Richardetto specifically, because again, I'm sure you guys can see like the little interaction that these cards have. So it's pretty nasty. So from here, this is our 5th summon. So our opponent can choose to nib us here. Most likely they won't nib us, and the reason for it is because they're just going to go into Angelica here, especially if they've seen us play before. So we can go ahead and punish them, just leave that nib in their hand. Alternatively, they might just nib. It doesn't really matter because we can still play regardless. But they go into the Appaloosa here. We go into Appaloosa for 3. Then we go ahead and use DDR discard to get Richardetto. Richardetto goes ahead and reborns our Ogier, and then from here we can go into Angelica. Angelica effect, go ahead and get us our Museum. Then here we can activate Museum, pay 12. This will go ahead and add us our Almace into our hand. And then from here we can do is we can go ahead and use Divine Sword, banish 2, get DDR into our hand, activate Divine Sword, dump the Turpin, and then of course run away to summon out the Roland. And then from here we can go ahead and use Ogier to equip, use Turpin to special summon out, it's important. And then we go ahead and link or synchro away into Charles, then link into here. Cool. And then Almace will go ahead and trigger to add back our Renaud or any sort of follow-up play that we need. This will go ahead and equip onto it like that. Then we will use Museum to go ahead and summon out our Charles, and then use Roland to go ahead and equip, and then this will go ahead and turn away into our Emperor Charles the Great. So it's pretty good. And then from here during the end phase, of course, we go ahead and get this guy. This guy will go ahead and add onto our injuring. So technically speaking, this is like the quote-unquote better play because now Mogs will pop. So in my opinion, I think this is a really good end board to go against Unchained, especially because Appaloosa is an FTK against Unchained. Even if they proceed to enter battle phase to out the Appaloosa, we still have the Roland equipped to go ahead and pop. And then once we pop the card will attempt to float, and unless they have Unchained Abomination, we can just negate it with Appaloosa. So it's pretty good. And then Angeling, I like to save as like my last be-all end-all card that can kind of negate their talents, things of that nature. So it's pretty good. So again, the first combo was the basic one. The second one is the Connector Renaud combo. Now let's get on to the third combo. Alright guys, so now we are getting on to the third combo. Now again, like I said before, my first 3 combos are going to be just showcasing the power of Angel Ring itself. So again, make sure you guys like the video if you guys like the video so far. Of course, I really appreciate it, and subscribe if you have not already. But from here, it's going to be 2 generic warrior combo. Uppercutter, go ahead and get Spar. Of course, if you have an extender, we can get the counter trap. Go ahead and summon away into Assault. Assault, add Eka. If you guys aren't familiar, Eka says if this card is normal special summon, target 1 face-up card. In your play spell trap cards, don't special it. Night Crystal Beast, whatever. But you guys will see what I'm talking about as you proceed here. Go ahead and mill 4. 4 go into Ogier. Ogier effect, dump Turpin, and then banish 2, get Phoenix Blade. Then we go ahead and Phoenix Blade on Turpin, summon Turpin, go into Dempsey. Dempsey effect, get Renaud. Again, most of these lines are the same, you know what I mean? Make sure you summon Renaud here. It's very important because you don't have a Fire Warrior. Unless you go into Fiery Flame Swordsman or Ferocious Flame Swordsman. But we need Return on this end board specifically. So go into Return, use Divine Sword, banish 2, go ahead and get Divine Sword back into our hand. Activate DDR, get the level 4. It's important that we get any level 4 because you want to synchro away into Angelica. Angelica will go ahead and resolve to grab us our Museum. From here, we can go ahead and activate Divine Sword, banish 2, get Divine Sword into our hand. Again, it doesn't really matter the order because all these cards are resolving. Divine Sword, go ahead and get Angelica. Angelica, dump Gearfried, activate Durndal, or not Durndal, Museum. Museum, get Almace. Then from here, we can go ahead and use Ogier, set, and then special out with this. Almace onto our Charles, and then Chainlink 1 is going to be Charles the Great. Chainlink 2 is going to be Almace to add back the Gearfried. One important thing is I'll showcase here is after we equip is to special summon out the Gearfried, but not to a zone that Return points to, because we need Return's effect to be live. So I'll show you guys what it is. It's very similar to like Summorsword. Also, I didn't realize that Return pointed top. I thought he pointed up there. I didn't know he pointed top. That's interesting. But we go ahead and we will go ahead and use Turpin to equip. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm just using effects here. But now, during the end phase, we will use Charles. Charles will go ahead and equip. So again, you equip Angelic Ring, Angel Ring, and then this will go ahead and grab us. Great Shogun Shien, baby. So now, again, I'm not going to explain this right now. You guys can probably figure it out maybe. But from here, we will proceed to our opponent's standby phase. Why, you ask? Because Return has an ability. Once per turn, during the standby phase, you can target 1 face-up monster this card points to, be it this boy. Such summon 1 level 4 or lower monster with the same type as that monster from your hand to a zone this card points to. important why you don't summon to the zone. You need to have at least one monster, very similar to some sort, right? But from here, we will use Return. Return will target our Charles the Great. This will summon out Eka. Eka says, if this card is normal special summon, target one face-up monster card in either player's spawn trap card zone and special summon it to your field. We're going to special summon Xian. Why are we special summoning Xian, you ask? I will explain right now. Basically, Xian says, your opponent can only activate one spell trap card each turn. Now, previously, the issue with Xian was, even if we would negate it, it still wouldn't count towards Xian's clause because your opponent can only activate. We negate the activation. You feel me? So usually they can still have like a problematic card to deal with. Angel Ring, however, says negate the effect of your opponent's first spell trap card that resolves each turn. So it's negating the effect, not the activation. Meaning that if our opponent starts with like Upstart Goblin, Angel Ring will negate it. And then on top of that, they can no longer use spell trap cards for the rest of the turn. We still have a monster negate and we still have a pop as well to protect like our Xian, things of that nature. So that's kind of like the quote unquote lock. So again, this board gets a lot better once Angel Ring actually hits the TCG, which is very soon. But yeah, that's it for the third combo, guys, and now let's get into the fourth combo. Alright guys, so now we are getting on to the fourth combo, and now this is when the combos get super spicy and super juicy. So now we are going to be using the Sinful Soils, Hunter Fiend, I think it's called like Wanted or something like that, plus Ogier. So now this is kind of the combo that a lot of people wanted to be seeing. So let's say 2-card combo. So again, the first thing what we do is we go ahead and fire this card off in the draw phase. It's a quick play, it lets us add a card, so why not use it in the draw phase? Play around drone, lockbird, things of that nature, because this little engine technically lets you play around drone because you set a lot of cards. But this will go ahead and activate, add one Diabellstar monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, very important. But this will go ahead and add us Diabellstar the Dark Witch. Now she has the ability where she says you spell summon this card by sending one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Then once per turn, if this card is normal special summon, you can set one spell or trap card that says Sinful Spoils directly from your deck onto the field. So again, from here we go ahead and proceed into the main phase, and then we can use Diabellstar pitch our Ogier, and then Diabellstar will trigger, and she will go ahead and set our Snake Eye. Now this card is really good because this card says send one other face up card you control the graveyard, special on one level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck. I almost said fire warrior. Fire monster from your hand or deck. But again, all of our monsters are fire, so I'm sure you guys can guess what we're going to summon, right? We use Snake Eye. Snake Eye go ahead and send Diabellstar. This will go ahead and summon out our Richardetto. Richardetto says when he's normal or special summon, be reborn. So this will go ahead and reborn out our Ogier. Ogier effect will go ahead and trigger to dump into our Gear Free. So again, if you guys notice here, we actually haven't added at all during the main phase yet. So again, that's why I'm saying it's a lot better. From here we dump, go into the Angelica over here. Angelica will trigger to go ahead and add us onto our hands. It's going to be Museum. From here we can fire off Museum. After Museum will go ahead and add us our Durandal. Not our Renaud, but I mean the play doesn't really matter anyways. But we go and add Renaud. Renaud will go and special summon to add back our Gear Free into our hand. And then from here we can go ahead and activate Ogier. Ogier will equip. And then from here we can go ahead and use Museum's second effect to go ahead and special summon out our monster into our Isolde. And then from here we can go ahead and activate Isolde. Isolde will trigger to go ahead and add us our Astolfo into our hand. So again, Gear Free, we can summon Astolfo, we cannot. And again, it doesn't matter that we didn't, like I misplayed here, or I didn't misplay here, but I skipped a step by milling the Durandal. It doesn't really matter, but from here we can go ahead and mill 4. So again, we're milling the Angel Ring, we're milling the Divine Sword, the Durandal, and the DDR as well. We go ahead and summon out our Battling Boxer Uppercut. So now this is what I was saying. This guy says this, so this is why the Battling Boxer engine is better. If this card is normal special summon, you can add one Battling Boxer monster or one counter trap from your deck to your hand, accept it, blah blah whatever. Okay, so now we mill 4, we summon out our Uppercutter, and then from here Uppercutter will trigger to go ahead and add us our counter trap, which is Flammable Counter. There's said when a spell trap card is activated, banish one fire monster with 200 defense from your graveyard, negate the activation if you destroy it. So if you guys see, we have Uppercutter, we also have Renaud with 200 defense as well, so it's pretty good. From here we can go ahead and trigger our Divine Sword banish 2, go ahead and get Divine Sword Phoenix Blade into our hand, activate Phoenix Blade onto Angelica effect to go ahead and special Roland. Again, I forgot to mill here. I do end up milling eventually, so we go ahead and synchro away into our Charles here, and then from here what we do is we go ahead and activate Roland to equip like this, and then synchro Charles away into our Emperor Charles the Great. Perfect. From here what we do is we go ahead and use his effect to equip onto our monster. Then from here I end up realizing, I was like, oh crap, so I end up milling the turban here. That's the turban we forgot to mill off of the Angelica. And then from here, what we do is, from here what we do is we go ahead and use Gear Free, go ahead and banish out the Durandal. Technically we have 2 Durandals in graveyard, you know what I mean? So Smash out the Durandal, and then here what we can do is we can use Turpin to special summon himself, and the reason for that is because we have a monster equipped with the equips card. Sorry, there's a fly here, I don't know why. But we go ahead and summon it, and then from here we go ahead and end up linking our monsters away. So we link our Turpin and our Isolde away into the new card, SP Little Knight. Now this card says, if this card is link summoned using a fusion, synchro, XYZ, and or link monster as material, target one card on the field or in the graveyard, banish it. So very good for going second. Turning our Isolde or other things into this card is very powerful as well. Then you can target one card on the field or in the graveyard, banish it. Also monsters can attack, whatever. Then this card has the other effect where when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including at least one monster you control, banish both monsters until the end phase. You can only use each effect once per turn. Why is this card good, you're asking, right? Why is it good? Yeah, exactly. Okay, so not only is it a good card going second, going first, it is also a disruption because you banish herself and you banish one card your opponent controls, and then once she comes back, because she points sideways, she'll be coming back in the main monster zone. She can point sideways to help you facilitate more extra deck plays, so it's pretty good in that regard. And then we go ahead and set our flammable counter and then proceed into another broken effect, which is this card. So not only does it have the first effect, the second effect is this: during your main phase, you can banish your card from your graveyard, target one of your spell trap cards, Sinful Spoils, that is banished or in your graveyard, place it at the bottom of your deck, then draw one card. So not only are we full comboing, we're also drawing. So put Snake Eye at the bottom, go ahead and draw a card like that, so it's pretty good. And then from here we can go ahead and proceed to the end phase. So equip Angel Ring and go ahead and equip Malgus, so we're drawing another card as well. So this is even nastier. This will go ahead and trigger off Charles. Charles will go ahead and pop Malgus, and then we shuffle back 3. So Durandal, Turpin, and our Richardetto. Of course, make sure you remember to keep one of these guys in here so our flammable counter is live. And then we draw a card, so it doesn't really matter. Then Angelic comes back. So overall, what we basically ended on now with our 2-card combo is SP Little Knight, who can banish herself in another card, so that's a disruption. We got 2 spell / trap negates off of Charles the Great and Angel Ring. Then we also have Flammable Counter, which is a negate as well. Then we also have a monster negate on top of that as well. And then we still have a pop. So our board just gets a lot better. You can make the argument to play the other card, like the Battling Box to counter trap, because then you can actually negate like monster effects as well. But the way that the format's kind of shaping up, a lot of people are using a lot of spell and trap cards to kind of break boards, play around things, and you just save your gear free for that one really annoying monster. And SP Little Knight can just banish a link monster also, so it doesn't really matter. So that's for the 4th combo, guys. Now let's get on to the 5th and final combo. Alright guys, so now we are getting on to the 5th and final combo. Now it's very similar to my previous combo, but it's if we draw museum. That's basically what the combo is. Okay, so majority of the plays are going to be similar, so I will fast forward through them, but we just have museum. So again, draw phase, activate Hunter Fiend or Wanted, whatever it's called. I'm gonna call Hunter Fiend. Hunter Fiend gets a Diabellstar. Diabellstar discard, go ahead and set Snake Eye. Snake Eye, send Diabellstar, summon out Richardetto. Richardetto effect, summon out Ogier. Ogier effect, dump Gearfried. Activate museum. Museum effect will go ahead and trigger to get Durandal. So last time I skipped it, this time I didn't. Go into Angelica. Angelica get our 2nd museum. Then from here we can fire off Durandal. Use Durandal to go ahead and get Renaud into our hand, which is really nice. Then we can special out Renaud. Renaud get Gearfried from here, and then what we can do is we can go Ogier equip, Ogier summon out, link away into our Isolde. Isolde go ahead and add Astolfo into our hand. And then we are going to use Isolde to go ahead and mill 4. So again, of course, making sure we mill the Angel Ring in there. Again, you don't mill 4, you can mill like 1 or 2 depending on what you want to do, but and then summon out the uppercutter effect. Because you special, get Flammable Counter. It can be the Battling Boxer, again, like I said before. This will go ahead and activate to get our Divine Sword back into our hand. Divine Sword onto Angelica. Angelica summon Roland, dump Turpin. I remember this time. Synchro away into our Charles, and then equip, and then link away into our Charles the Great. From here, Charles the Great will equip, which is really nice. Activate 2nd museum. Museum effect, go ahead to activate to get All Mace into our hand. And we can use Museum's other effect as well to summon out. Go ahead, equip All Mace on. Send our monster away into our Emperor Charles the Great. Chain link 1, chain link 2, you guys already know the deal. To go ahead and add Renaud back into our hand. And then from here we can go ahead and equip onto our monster as well. Then from here we can go ahead and activate Turpin to special summon out our Turpin. Then from here we can go ahead and link our monsters away into SP Little Knight. And then from here we can go ahead and special summon out our Gearfried. Zones doesn't matter. I don't like putting it here because of Relinquish Anima. And then we can go ahead and banish it to summon out. And then we have our Sinful Spoils to go ahead and shuffle back. Put it into draw a card. And then from here we can do, drawing that's a little awkward, but and then from here we can go ahead and proceed to go ahead into the end phase. Equip Angel Ring, equip Malgus, pop Malgus, draw another card. So it's, you guys can already see like what's happening. This is crazy. And then shuffle this. Draw a card, which is really good. And then basically, so now what we end on is again SP Little Knight, double spawn trap negate, 3 spell negates, 4 spell negates, and a Phoenix Gear Free. Now, if you wanted to change this combo, you absolutely can. If you don't like the Flamvel counter, you don't have to go for it. I think another play what you can do is instead of milling for the Balance Boxer, you can just mill for the Malgus earlier, and then Malgus can just get you your draws ahead of time, so you can kind of change what you equip. So it's pretty broken in that regard, I'm not gonna lie. But again, guys, those were it for my combos. Let me know what you guys think. So guys, that was it for the video. If you guys liked the video, please go and leave a like on the video. Of course, if you made it to the end of the video and you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, man. What are you doing? But without further ado, guys, my name's Hamza, and like I always say, keep on shining, never go on your dreams. Peace.